Hello, fellow nerds, and welcome to Nerd Doom, where the table explodes with anime, gaming, and overall nerd culture. I'm Mike,
I'm Addie.
and let's get things started. And we're back. So, as we were talking about before, we have the
Belle.
elephant in the room, Belle. So, this is Hosoda's most recent.
Yeah.
This is Hosoda's most recent anime film. It is a loosely adaptation to Beauty and the Beast, uh, where instead of like any of the certain stuff that goes around. In fact, it doesn't show up until later in the series, like kind of the second half. It follows a girl. Don't remember her name. Sorry.
Susanna?
Susanna. Oh, thank you, Susanna. Um, follows Susanna starting off with how she's dealing with the loss of her mother, who kind of sacrificed her life to save
Another child. During
during
a river flood?
something like that. It was a
Yeah.
river flood or typhoon, something of that nature. And essentially, she's kind of dealing with all that, and she becomes kind of a YouTuber, like more of a VTuber. You would think it's like a VTuber, but
It's in the
basically,
world of You, the virtual reality zone.
yeah. So if you ever watched like Summer Wars, is very similar to that, like the dynamic and like how that was before then. It's basically, I think You is just what it was in the Summer Wars, except like later.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, it feels like that.
it feels exactly the same. So like she kind of starts off and she starts to sing. She used to sing, but she couldn't sing since her mother died. But she only could sing when she was in You. So when she starts randomly and out of nowhere getting super popular. And again, if you have never watched Belle, super spoilers. If you never watched this film, I don't recommend it. To be fair, I don't
I'd
recommend
recommend it
it.
for the music, and that's about it.
Yeah, the soundtrack, amazing. The soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks in a while.
The movie itself, story, which is what we're gonna
so
rant about.
so like the problem is that once it gets to the part of the Beauty and Beast section, it becomes a situation where this random avatar who's like super gruffy and like
He's like a
edgelord,
dragon-esque type.
yeah, edgelord dragon-esque type of thing, just starts, you know,
He interrupts one of her concerts that she's doing.
yeah, totally. Hey,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah,
Platoon.
but like that's the case though, right? Like the problem with that was it starts that process of the Beauty and Beast thing. The old mysterious, who is this guy? Why is he starting shit? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Like, who is he really?
yeah, and then so she gets super
In-
interested.
And tries to snoop out basically who is the beast or who is this person.
Yeah.
And then ends up like tracking down in the virtual reality realm, finds him, and then learns that he's this very vulnerable type of personality who's very sweet, but she feels a connection to him in terms of like his vulnerability. And then so it kind of keeps going with there. And then like, there's a character that's like the Gaston character, even though like there's no love interest there between her and this particular Gaston character.
No, he's just a
he's
guy.
Just an asshole.
No, that's the funniest thing. I find him funny though, because he's just a douche that's like
Power hungry.
Like power. I wouldn't say power hungry. He's like super like macho. He has the personality of Gaston, right?
Yeah.
He thinks he's the best. He thinks he's awesome.
He thinks what he's doing is just.
He's got sponsors. He's got
all the
sponsors. Like he shows up and there's like a crap ton of sponsors that shows up on the screen like right behind him. It's super hilarious.
And he has a special bracelet thing that can unveil an avatar, so it shows what they really look like.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's considered like an ambassador or a moderator.
Yeah,
if you
he's
will.
second to moderators apparently.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. It's one of those asshole moderators that you don't like. It's like really annoying. And and so eventually she finds the beast at his castle.
Which that was a really cool design though.
Yeah, it was a cool design. No, here's the thing. super beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Everything about it's great. Some of the parts that I do like in it has everything to do with her character outside of you.
That yeah.
But what happens is this is where the story kind of gets a little odd. And mind you, at the other side of things, there's a subplot about uh excuse me,
Cheers.
a person who she likes, and
Childhood friend, basically.
childhood friend, that trope. And like basically like think what was it? Like someone asked her
So
to
her friend asked her, aren't you into him because the whole childhood friend thing? And she's like, no, but she's kind of somewhat denying it.
Mhm.
And then she ends up later finding out that one of the most popular girls in the school is asking her, "Hey, can you help me confess to this person that I like?" And she's assuming that it's him, and so she gets a little hurt by that, and she kind of takes it as, "Oh, I'll take one for the team and let her do it because I'm not going to do this." But she's low key kind of hurt about it. Turns out she was wrong. It wasn't him. It was the kayaker dude. There's a kayaker character.
Oh right. The like the happy go lucky guy.
Yeah,
The rower. He was a
yeah,
rower. Or was it kayak? Was he a rower or a kayak? No,
kayak.
kayak. You're right, because they had a competition.
Yeah,
So like what was it? So continue on in the story. Essentially,
in the universe of you.
in the universe of you, there's some it gets escalated. It goes through this super like thing about like very similar to Beauty and the Beast. She shows up, she tries to talk to him, he screams at her,
Scares her
try to
off.
scare her off. It happens over and over and over again until eventually
She just decides, I'm just gonna confront him and just, be kind to him until he opens up to me, sings a song for him to make him feel better. There's the whole typical ballroom dance
yeah,
scene,
the
which,
ballroom
if you
dance.
look at it, it's very similar to the Disney Beauty and the Beast scene.
Yeah.
Like, you can put them side by side, it's very similar. And then you find out that he's this really vulnerable soul. And like, there's a part where like she leans in to kiss him, and like he kind of like cringes from it, so she doesn't kiss him. Instead, she just lays her head on
Yeah.
his,
Mm-hmm.
and
Thank God.
it's really tender and really cute. And then
This is where it gets weird. So after that happens, immediately we get to a point where they find his castle. The moderators
mhm,
find his castle, try to chase him, try to deal with him, and show his face kind of
yeah,
situation. Because they have the ability to show who you really look like in the real world. Um, which my thought is, why would you do that? Like, why would that be such a big deal? I mean, I get why it'd be a big deal, but like, it's just kind of like that just seems like a really dumb punishment.
because people act differently in
Yeah,
a virtual reality world
that is the
versus
most Japanese like punishment I can ever think of.
yeah,
It's like,
being
how do we just embarrass you?
pretty much. So like it gets to the point where they come in, they destroy his castle, the beast flees, um, and then she ends up trying to find him again and save him so he doesn't get unveiled, but also like she figures out like something's not right, and like her friend in real life is kind of a computer nerd,
Hmm.
and she's there, we're like, we have to find him, we have to help him somehow. And then like there's a background camera that the friend has like all the way up, like all these other people that have been watching the scenario happening within the world of you, and she hears someone humming her song. And mind you, this is a song that she's only sung to the beast,
Hmm.
and it's this young kid who's humming it, and he's kind of like almost disassociating just by the way you look at him.
Hmm.
And then as he's humming, the dad comes in and starts verbally abusing him, and they catch it on camera, and she's like, yeah, that can't be the beast. But then she figures out it's this other smaller character that's around the beast and that's shown up.
Hmm.
And then from there, she finally sees the older brother come in and defend the younger brother, and figures it out that, oh, he's the beast. This is a kid who's like maybe 14 at the
Yeah, at the
oldest.
most, it's like 14 essentially.
She's like 16, 17.
That's the twist. It's child abuse. So basically, you learn that like he's the way he is, and oh, a big explanation about how you works. So your avatar, you don't pick your avatar.
It's
Your
based off of
the
a
who
picture you submit,
and your
and
personality. So
yes,
like oh no, your thoughts of who you think you are.
yes,
Like it's all about like your self-reflection. So like that's why you'll look the way you look in you. Like that's a cool concept, to be
yes.
fair. The concept of it has nothing to do with what you want, but how you think of yourself is how it shows up, which is really really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting when like she's like, oh, I have like her self-reflection is literally this beautiful like woman.
No, she didn't think it was her because she thought the picture that they'd used because it was with her classmates and the popular girl who's actually
Oh.
pretty, or they're all pretty, but
Oh
the
yeah,
one
because the
she
one
thought
she
was
used
pretty.
wasn't her.
No, it used hers, but because she was so close to the other one, she thought maybe they had combined
Oh, that's
the
what it
two.
was. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, the whole thing about it was weird about that. But okay, so because of that, that's how they figured out who he was. So they go through this whole process of trying to find uh where this kid is and he's being abused,
Hmm.
and essentially trying to find a way to get them to, because they refused her help at first.
Yeah, well, she said, "I can help you," and he basically went on a rant of, "Oh, you think you can help? Other people have said the same thing, so what makes you think you can help?"
Well, it's not even just like that. It was like everyone else has tried to help, but it has never worked.
So
Like it's
he's just
always gone
basically gotten
back.
sweet words and no
Yeah, he's
action.
gotten sweet words, but nothing has actually worked. So like they go off until she tries to find a way to reach him, because he also didn't believe that she was Belle.
Yeah,
Um and so like essentially when they have this moment, and then she just decides that she's going to sing, but she decides she wants to reveal
well,
herself.
the her childhood friend convinces her.
Yeah.
It
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 is
is really
sad and
sad and
dark.
dark, but it's very left field of what you thought was gonna be happening
Yeah,
in the entire plot
but
line.
like um all that happens, she decides to reveal herself essentially,
Yeah.
and then beautiful song comes into play, very very loving, like very nice inspiring situation, which is a very
And a
lovely
very
song.
nice resolution for her of
Yeah.
coming to terms with the trauma of losing her mother the way she did.
Yes. Yeah.
And because of that, because of her courage to reveal who she really was in this alternate universe or in this online universe, um, the kid believes her and she's able to reach out to him again. And eventually they figure out where in Tokyo, because she's like in southern Japan.
Yeah, the equivalents of South and like country bumpkin,
Yeah,
countryside
the countryside.
essentially.
Yeah, and then or near the ocean. And then he's in Tokyo, so she ends up. This is where it gets really weird. So like the people who have witnessed this call the police over there, try to report it, and the police are like, "We can't do anything because reasons." It's really stupid.
They
So
didn't
she
give a
decides,
they didn't say anything, not a really real reason at
not a
all.
real reason. No,
Oh, they said I think they said they couldn't do anything if they didn't, like, because they
there
didn't
wasn't proof.
there wasn't any proof. That's
Yeah,
what it was.
and like so she decides to get on a bullet train and go over there and find them, and she ends up finding the neighborhood that they live in, finds where they are, meets the little brother who's outside wandering around, and then eventually the older brother shows up and like she talks
Yeah,
to him. She's like,
apparently
"Oh, I'm
they
so
just
happy you
escape.
came."
Is
I
that what it was?
They
It's like
didn't escape. They just got out.
it made no sense though. Like, how did
Yeah.
they get out? So like, and then basically they go through the whole thing, and then she
And the
meets
dad
him.
shows up and tries to beat them and tries to intimidate her, and she stands up to him, which scares the dad and makes him go away. And then after that, it just cuts to her returning home.
That's it.
That's
And
it.
then her returning home, dealing with the stuff, and she's ready to sing, and like she's feeling a lot better, and they're all like together, and then it ends.
That's it.
That's it. There's no resolution of what happens in there. So, starting from the beginning,
Now that
every
we've gotten that, there's probably a better synopsis of the plot
yeah.
online, but
So,
that's the
I mean, that's
gist.
essentially the entire movie. So, starting from the beginning, the best parts of the movie had to do with her and her dealing with her trauma,
And the singing in the
and the
songs.
singing, and her kind of going through the process of healing. Right?
Yes.
So, like, all of that was great. It went bad as soon as the beast came into play and let her in. So one of the biggest reasons why I don't like how this went is, one, the part when they get to the beast and they suddenly like are okay with each other made no
It
sense.
didn't make any
So like
sense.
so the whole time, right? Every single time that he has went out and like, been around her, all that stuff, right? And he has spent the entire time being a piece of shit to her. And then there's one time you have a savior moment, right? And that's
Yeah,
it.
like, 'cause she leaves the castle, gets chased like, at the very beginning, like, when she's first, like, talking to him, and he does the typical, "Go away!" And she runs off because like, she got yelled at and she doesn't know what to do. She gets caught by these admin people and gets chased around this, like, forgotten part of, like, this old city inside the, online universe,
Mhm.
and then he comes and saves her, and all of a sudden, it's the whole, like, "Oh, I feel like I understand you more now." What?
Yeah, out of nowhere. It's not earned. The dance is not earned. Everything about
Yeah, and
the
it leaves it like they make it try to seem that I think you as a viewer should understand that there is a time lapse, but it doesn't come across
But
that
it's
way.
not a time lapse. The problem is that they go immediately into the dance. Like after he saves her, they immediately have this moment.
Does it, or does it cut to her deciding she's going to create a song for him,
Or something, I
and
can't
then it goes
remember,
back
or
into
something
it?
like that. I don't know. It still
It's
wasn't earned. Like it doesn't show you that they've been together or they've been doing things together for a while. There's nothing earned about it. The like so like you have this very weird, kind of awkward situation.
yeah. Excuse you. And then it also doesn't help that like the entire time this is going on, like before you even get to the ending, like you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be a romantic relationship of some sorts. That's what it feels like when you're watching it.
Yeah, that's what it should be technically, because that's what it's based off of,
Yeah.
right? And then you have this kind of like, and mind you, we're in it. Like we were super into it, like the whole time. In that time, we were willing to let go the quick thing because it made no sense, but it was fine. It was fine,
Yeah.
right? But like as soon as it's like, so we have this awkward moment, and I thought it was cute. It was like, oh no, we don't want to do that. I thought it was like a nice way of showing like, no, we're not there yet, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. It got so much worse when they find out this is someone, the kid being abused, and then everything just makes it bad. Like because you
Everything
start to,
transitions from who's this mysterious person to, oh, these are kids that are getting abused.
yeah, and then but it makes it worse because the relationship with them now has become super awkward, right?
Yes.
Because this whole time you as an audience understand that this is Beauty and the Beast. You and as an audience understand that this is supposed to be a love story. You're thinking that as a love story because that's all you think is the Disney's Beauty and the Beast. This is what's in the back of your head the entire time.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
As soon as the child comes in and you figure this out, the first thing you think is, oh,
What?
they had this moment.
Yes.
And it's like definitely supposed to be a romantic moment. And now it's just creepy.
Yeah, like
Because she's like, I mean, mind you, like, it's not like they're that much younger.
age difference,
Like, she's
but
like 16, if I remember correctly.
16, 17, something
16,
like that.
17. And he's like, I would say like
13, 14.
13, 14, right? It's
Yeah.
not horrible, but it's just awkward, especially when you realize the kid, I think he's actually younger, honestly and truly. Like, I honestly think he's probably like 12.
No, I'm gonna say 13.
Nah, I think he's like 12 and the other kid is like 10. That's why I think. But we don't have like
He's
official
younger.
ages.
He's younger. That's all we
He's
know.
definitely younger, and he's too young, and his personality puts him in a like an age range, like like appropriate mindset age range.
Yeah.
That just makes it like so awkward and ew when you think about it.
Because again, everything's leading up to like the dance scene and like them kind of like starting to understand each other and like being comfortable around each other in the online universe. Again, it makes it seem it's somewhat romantic. Now, don't get me wrong. Someone can look at you and go, "Well, it can be a familial romance." I'm like in terms of like family love.
That was someone said, but I don't
But
think
that's not what
that is
comes
not
across.
what it came across.
No.
It directly tells you in the way it was done as if this is a romantic scene, especially the amount of time we spent in you and like all of this part, like because it goes back into you a lot of times by that
Yeah.
point. Like because by that point we have gotten sort of past like the weird I wouldn't say weird, the subplot. And the
Yes.
subplot, honestly, I enjoyed the subplot more. But and mind you, the subplot is a very anime trope like shoujo thing. It was
Of the
misunderstanding leads to like a weird situation and a what was it? Because
And a confession.
her and her childhood friend hold hands at one point, and they see and people see it, and
Oh
so
no,
there's
no! She was gonna walk away from him because he confronted
Oh,
her
and
about
he
something,
grabbed
and
her
then he grabbed
hand.
her hand,
And
and then
everyone
everybody
saw
in
it.
this, all the girls in the school
And then
that
there
like
was-
admire him or like are after him are like, "Oh, they're dating! How dare you do this? How dare you touch him?"
Yeah,
And blah,
it's
blah,
like
like
this
some
weird
bullshit
rumor.
like that.
It's so odd. Like it was so weird, and so like it's so like
Kicking the dog. God.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. And so like that's what makes it super weird, right? I mean, and mind you, the subplot is nice, and it's nice if it went that way. But then it like gets to a point where it's just like, okay, now we're at the child abuse guy. I was like, okay, let's get that. Maybe they'll find a way to get with police. And I was like, oh well, they're so far away, right?
Yeah.
Then like it'd be hard to get with the
Like
police,
get them out of the house and
get
take
them
them
out
to
of
the
the house
police
and try to
and-
like do all this stuff. I thought it was gonna turn into like a 911 like operator thing. It's like, all right, like, or do you have I was like, do you have a 2x4? All right, if you don't have a 2x4, take the chair, whack the dad, and leave.
But this
Try
is
to find
also
a simple thing in
but this is
general.
also based on Japanese society, and their what
Yeah,
they do is very
and
how
child
they react is vastly different. Now, mind you, one of the things that this particular movie could have been trained, because you say Hosoda does like things that are like important to him, or something that ties him.
it has a
It could be trying to point out child abuse and like the issue around protecting these young kids who are vulnerable, and the fact that there's a lack of resource for it. But that's not how the movie comes
but
across.
that so the problem is that like I just don't think this had anything personal for him, right?
We
Usually
don't know that
when he writes a
he could have
film,
gone through child abuse that we don't know of.
I don't think he did.
You don't think he did?
No, because he had a very happy, because Summer Wars tells you that he didn't have issues with child abuse. Because the whole point is the fact he actually had a very loving relationship with his family.
True. I don't. Maybe he knew somebody. Maybe his wife.
I don't
Or
know. It just feels like
it was just like a
it
Beauty and
felt
the Beast
so.
that went south.
So that's what I'm saying. It just felt so forced, and like this whole subplot of like, well, not subplot, the whole main plot of being a person of child abuse dealing with this whole issue felt so forced. Like,
It just
and
did. It
then
felt like a separate story.
and then at the worst of it all, we have two issues that like become the most egregious thing. One, she randomly decides to just take a train all the way to this place.
Mind you, over in Japan, they have bullet trains, which are extremely fast and will get you
This
from one
is
place to another in a relative time. But that's still a
at least
hour to 2 hour trip.
it is at least I think on that bullet train it's 30 minutes if I remember correctly from there to Tokyo.
No, it's
It's
going to
like
be
a
at
30
least an
minutes to
hour.
40. No, because like the thing about the bullet trains is that you can go from the highest end of Tokyo to like not highest end. You can go from Tokyo to like Sendai within like 45 minutes.
True,
Yeah, and that's much longer.
but still,
And mind you, and I'm saying that because that is still super long. By that point, how? And then again,
like the dad's already
how the
found
fuck
out.
did she randomly find him?
Here's something.
Find them.
The dad got exposed on the internet because the video got caught of him verbally abusing. He didn't touch them. You didn't see him touch them. But he verbally abused these kids
No, well,
on the video, and it got
and
leaked. And then he got mad about it. So wouldn't it be assumed that he would have?
no, the camera was on the whole time when it was happening. So
I
like,
know, but that's what got caught. But then, like afterwards, like outside the camera being, because he shut the camera off afterwards.
yeah.
Wouldn't you think that he would have probably physically abused him after that?
No, I would have. Like if I was him. Like
But
so,
but you're not abusive, so
yeah, no, like so like if I was in his shoes, more than likely I would already be abusing them. I would get to a point
like your brain, like in
there
situations like that, tell you, okay, he would have hit them. He would have done something physical to them outside this camera.
but you have to like even if it didn't, you have to assume the worst. So like at that, and mind you, this is when they're still there. So as soon as it cuts off, she decides to leave.
Yeah.
That is at least at this point about an hour to an hour and a half before you actually even remotely get to Tokyo. On top of that, then you have to try to find the place.
Yeah, and they have they have the location of it triangulated based on afternoon music
Get
and
an area.
and an area and buildings that are near it.
But that's not
So
enough to find the place, and she just happens to
she
find.
happens to get into the right neighborhood because she's like running around. And then eventually she gets to an area and she sees where the buildings are that they see in the background. And then she's like, I'm near there. But then all of a sudden the kid comes walking out.
Yeah, the kid just shows up. I don't know her.
What?
I was like, oh, cool. How, like, what coincidence? Like, it's the biggest coincidence in the universe.
Let's not talk about the fact that when she's on the train, it's nighttime. And by the time she gets there, it's day. Where did this girl stay?
So it's so bad. Or it's like either it's that or she just happened to leave like right before sunrise. That's the only thing that makes sense. Everything
No,
about
because she
it.
left as soon as the camera got shut off, and she was like, "I gotta go," and they like,
Yeah, but what I said was that's why I said that like by the time she actually gets to the train, it takes time. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you can't just run to the train and assume it's gonna show up. You also have to wait for the fucking train to show up.
that's just on a schedule. It's a very
Yeah.
precise schedule, but it's still on a schedule.
Yeah, you have to wait till it shows up. Okay, like you can't just like
There's just so much wrong with it. Like again, visually, it's a beautiful movie. Musically, it's a beautiful movie. Story, what?
and we're not done.
And
And
we're
then
not
after
done.
all of that, like another egregious thing. We go in, they find the two, they hug for a while. The dad shows up. right?
and
He
starts hitting,
he
like
start
starts grabbing at her, and kind of actually, no, he hits her
he physically hits
and
her
scratches her
and
because like he's
scratches
pulling on her and
scratches
like
enough to
make her
to
bleed on
cut
her cheek.
yeah, to cut her cheek, right? And she just has this, and it's not like she's mean or anything. She has this random like look of like
Determination.
determination, and I guess it's supposed to be pity. I guess that's what's
It's
supposed to
not.
be.
I don't know if it was
It's like a lot.
pity.
I get
It was just
I get the
determination and
look.
confidence of look of do it, I dare you.
Like I am not gonna get I'm
I'm
not gonna
not
let you
backing
get
down. I'm not
yeah.
afraid of you.
That's basically what it was. But like
Because like basically the two
it,
brothers are behind her.
here is my thought, right? This is a grown ass man. I
She he,
are you really seriously thinking at this point
hang on,
you're
hang on. You kind of
suddenly
jumped. You kind of jumped here, so they're not going to understand. So basically, they're hugging. Dad comes out. She shields the two brothers because she's a little bit taller than them. And the dad is like pulling at her and kind of punches her and then like grabs her face, scratches her. And they eventually start huddling down as like he keeps hitting her. And eventually she just gets up and the two brothers are still huddled on the ground with each other. She gets up, turns her back to the brothers and kind of does like this number here and like gives the dad of I'm not scared of you. Try your best.
yeah,
And the dad
it's
the
at
entire
some
time
point
is
he
just like,
falls or something.
well, he's like he goes like this to go and hit her, but she's staring him down.
That's what it was, yeah.
So the entire time she's staring him down, he's like ah, and like he's gonna try and go for her, but then like for whatever reason, her staring him down makes him back down, and he just falls because he's freaked out by the fact that she's standing up to him. Mind you, there is a psychological mindset where there are abusers who gain power, have a feeling of power, gain power over those who do not have the ability to protect themselves, like the children did.
Right.
And it can be that as soon as you stand up to that abuser and you regain that power, they have lost that power and they don't know what to
There
do.
is a threshold with that if I remember correctly. If
Yes, but
when you
but that's
get
what they were trying to show in that, but it
yeah,
still
but
didn't make sense.
but we got into a point in that situation. He is angry. He has
Yeah,
spent time to look for these kids and physically abuse these kids
physically and
and a
emotionally and
complete
verbally.
stranger. That's where I'm at. A complete stranger. He
He
has
would have gone
decided
in
it's
Japan.
okay.
As soon as you assault somebody, and she had physical proof that he assaulted her, he should have gone to jail right then and there. But
Right.
you never know.
But no, that's not what I'm getting at. We're back up.
Okay,
We're getting at like the fact that she stopped him with that look. That is not realistic to me. I have firm belief if you were at a point and I know you were getting at it was like power and things of that nature, and when someone actually stands up and uses power, it causes like a person to back down. He is at this point of rage where that does not come into play.
yeah,
He has decided that it's okay
to hit this
to
person.
hit a complete stranger.
Yeah.
He is no longer like in the right mind to think that he is like gonna come back out of nowhere with that.
I read a thread online because I was looking up to see what other people said about this, and somebody said in Japan, to have something publicly come out because they were out in the open in the neighborhood for people that could possibly see. That's why he acted the way he did. But I don't believe that because otherwise he wouldn't have touched her regardless.
Here, and that's why I said it doesn't make sense that was the case. Like I get that, but no one outside of the four of them are in this scene. You have no indication that
They're just in the
anyone
middle
else
of this.
sees this.
They're in the middle of this street in this neighborhood.
Yeah, you have no indication that anyone sees this. It's in the rain. It is fairly like grayish and dark, right? There's no one else around. There's no indication that anyone's around. There's no indication that anyone's around after the incident ends. It is only the four of them in this entire scene.
And then like he runs off.
And then he runs off. And at that point, they just hug, and then it cuts to the next scene.
She's back home.
Literally no resolution.
I remember watching this and like we left the theater because we went and saw it in theater. But we left the theater and I went, "What happened to the kids?"
Oh, he did. Oh, they did. I love Lydia just like almost choked. But like that's the thing though. Like I see this right in terms of abuse, and I see how that is. I've seen it in people in general nature. People, it doesn't end once you do it once. You're going to do it again.
Yep.
Like it's not like you're gonna suddenly change. It takes a lot of time, and the only way you can change that is to take it away from the situation.
Yeah.
You do not. It does not end. And so like that's why it's so unrealistic. Like in all of this happens because people try to like because the problem with everybody that's trying to do stuff, they try to like make it like, oh well, uh, like it's probably because of this and this and this. That's why it's like that. And I'm like, no, that is not how abuse works. Like you have to understand abuse doesn't just suddenly stop. Like it's not like some form of like magical thing that just like
Just because somebody suddenly
changes
stood up to them.
just cuz a complete stranger does that. It will never happen to a complete stranger. It takes time. It takes a lot of time to get past
Now,
that.
a complete stranger can start the ball on getting attention onto the abusive situation.
You want to make the
But that's not what happens in the movie. So
no.
you're like, what happened? Like,
You know what it made that like him stopping so good if she came back and actually hit him and
mm,
hit him enough in a place that is very disorienting
in real life,
to
yes.
stop him.
In
Like
real
if you
life,
hit him in the
yes.
nose, hit him in the ear, anything that's enough to disorient that person and put him in a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
Then
Here's
you can have that look.
now here's
Then
the
it feels earned.
now here's the problem within the movie, and this has mostly to do with Japanese culture and
Hmm.
also being a
That would
movie.
never happen, but
Yeah. So in Japanese culture, if you physically touch someone, even if you are defending yourself, regardless of the situation, you also have the potential of going to jail or getting prison
right,
time or anything, regardless of it. Unless it's something super egregious and can be proven. Otherwise,
right.
you're going to get in trouble for it, regardless. Both parties are getting in trouble. Also, it's a movie in Japan, and for this particular style of movie, they don't really want to portray that
Hmm.
type of violence and encourage that type of
Yeah,
violence.
so you're not supposed to encourage it. I get that, but it's
Again, it
just
still doesn't make sense. That's why the movie you're sitting back and you go, what?
yeah, it's just that I think it's just one of the biggest issues that I have is that it just feels like you get to a point where it seems really really nice and loving part of like what I thought was important, which is her dealing with her trauma, to the what felt like a subplot that was added on as
It just felt out of place.
oh, this is a romantic subplot. Nope, it's not a romantic subplot. It is now a savior complex. It's now
A
not
savior.
savior complex, but it's now a rescue mission. And it just feels like there's too many
It felt
things
like
going
two
on.
different movies.
Yeah, it felt like two different movies that happened all together. Three different movies that happened all together.
Oh yeah, because well, no, the IRL stuff that she has to confront is, I feel like, still ties in because
That's
that's dealing with her confidence within herself and
yes.
coming to terms with the trauma and
Yeah.
everything.
So I want to explain my headcanon.
Okay,
So I have a hand cannon in what this should have happened. It's not a hand
or how
cannon.
it would have.
What my thought was is take away the entirety of the child abuse part. Those kids don't exist. None of that exists at all. Let's change it so that in the beginning, the child that was saved is her childhood friend. Let me specify why that works. Because once you have the childhood friend there, she at
It's
every
a better
single
connection.
it's a better connection because at every single turn she feels like she's close to this person, but at the same time she has to every time she sees him it reminds her of her mother every single time. And so she is dealing with the trauma the entire time, and so they become estranged. They don't talk to each other for a long period of time because that actually happens.
Well, that's because they just ended up going to different schools.
Yeah, but it helps with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It becomes like helpful with that because they just don't talk to each other for a long time, and so she's just kind of hiding behind it with her online personality, and then suddenly the beast happens. Right? You deal with all this stuff, this thing. He causes some
It would
trouble.
make the romantic like air that those
Yeah,
particular
yeah,
scenes
and then
become
like and
make
it,
more sense.
right? Because it would come familiar. Like it's like, oh man, I know this. It feels like I know this person, so I need to be around. I need to help this person. I need to understand what's happening because at the whole time he's also feeling the guilt. He's feeling the guilt, the survivor's guilt, because he feels responsible for her mother's death. That's where
But
I was
here's the
getting.
thing: is the childhood friend wasn't the one who was rescued. He basically stopped her from jumping into the river
I know,
after
no,
her mom.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is get away from that. Get away from that. Just change it. Just fucking get rid of it.
Just get rid of
Childhood friend, she breaks down, he's there, and then cut to the present, right?
yeah.
And then because it goes back and forth, if I remember correctly, it starts with her in her situation, and then
It starts off
and
with
then it,
like the very beginning of the
it's a
movie is her
flashback.
doing a concert.
Yeah, it's a flashback to what's happened to her before,
Yeah.
and so like And so like so you're spending this whole time trying to figure out who the beast is and get this whole weird situation, and like everything gets weird, and then you, at the same time they're at the school together and you have the same exact thing that happens because
Yeah.
everything that happens in the school is okay. And then it makes it because you it gets weird, it gets worse, especially when he grabs the hand and like all this stuff, and it's all cool. And then you get to a point and you change how the whole thing with the beast goes. After the whole
Basically, like the who the beast is.
do a montage, do a montage of like them like constantly having this moment, like, you know, kind of like buttering up to each other and dealing it into the dance so you can earn it.
Yeah.
One. And then after that, you get to a point where there's something that happens in between that they just don't talk to each other. They have an argument, something goes on, and right? And basically what happens is that she gets her online stuff gets in trouble. Something happens, she like something
The plot where like they're trying to get her to confess where this beast is or who the beast
yeah.
is.
But like, yeah, basically the beast
States.
and stuff like that. And she decides that she doesn't want to like let that happen. Like, hey, don't do that. This that nature. It's gonna be fine. And something in the real world lets him like figure out who she is.
Yeah.
Like in it, like that's what will come up is like he figures out who she is. It's like, no, it's not gonna be fine. And he's like, you know, he had that moment. It's like, no, like it's fine. It's okay. I have accepted this, right? Like I
Mhm.
accepted this. I don't feel like the same way as I am after I've had this relationship with you here and out in the world and in the real world. And he reveals himself. He's the one that takes the weird thing and reveals himself, right? He becomes the revealer instead of her. And then that will like put her in perspective. She has to like be confronted with all of the memories of her dying and like him being there. She gets mad at him. She like they have this moment where they just kind of cut off, and then she starts to, you know, deal with the fact that like she remembers, but we had this relationship, like we've been doing,
We had this friendship and
we
everything.
had this friendship, we have been together like for this long,
like that would make more sense.
and then you have this lovely feeling of like, oh well, maybe we should try to figure things out, and and then you get the resolution of them both getting over their trauma and their guilt, and they get together, and you can have that old big like happy-go-lucky scene at the end.
Yeah.
It makes more sense because you have two things. You have a proper way of setting up what happens with her childhood trauma and how she deals with it, and you can use that in the entire movie. Two, it makes everything that happens with the Beast and Belle worth. Like it actually is
it doesn't
earned.
feel creepy for a romantic relationship
One is
to be
not
forming.
creepy. Yeah, it's not creepy. It's not no familiar love that doesn't make sense. It is earned. The whole thing is earned. And then you get,
you know what, that was the weird thing about the movie is like the entire time it's going, it makes it feel like he's the childhood friend is the one that was the beast, and then turns around and goes, nope, it's a kid being abused.
we had firm belief it was like, oh, it's obviously the childhood friends. It makes
Yeah.
sense. Like we were all three of us were like, oh, it's the childhood friend. That makes so much sense. Obviously.
Yeah, totally. No.
It's like the fuck?
Otherwise, the movie itself is subpar. Again, the only really good part about it is the animation, the music,
Honestly,
and that's it.
the soundtrack is really the only thing that's good about it.
I mean, the animation's still pretty good.
The plot in the real world is pretty decent.
Yes.
I do like I think it was really well done. The person that played Susana is really, really well done. The Japanese one. I forgot how the English one is. I have to watch it again. Sorry.
Excuse you.
I have to watch it again because I didn't get that far into it. Damn it! Don't judge me.
But yeah, it's just one of those movies where you're like, oh, because they hyped it up before it came out.
It was very hyped up.
They were like, oh, it's this amazing movie.
Well, it's the next
beautiful.
Hosoda film. That's what it was
Yeah,
like.
it was the next Hosoda film, and then you watch it and you're just like, this didn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just it like because like for me, I just felt like it just wasn't, all the things that happened just wasn't earned. Like it just felt like you just threw this in there, and like we have no reason to like get invested in it at all because it just happens.
I didn't
right?
feel invested in the Beast, at least not completely.
I just wasn't interested in the Beast because I was just like, okay, cool. This kind of came out of
And
nowhere.
the fact that like a lot of the scenes between her, like her persona Belle and then the Beast in there was, if the scenes played out almost exactly how it did in
again
the Disney film.
I am okay with that.
I'm not.
Oh no. Here's the reason why I'm okay with it. So I'm okay
No, but just
with
the
it.
scene play in general, not the is it
I-
earned. I'm just saying like the fact that he yells at her, that she runs off, he goes to rescue her, the ballroom scene, because like in the
Right.
Disney film, in the ballroom scene, it pans down past the chandelier to them
Yeah, they
dancing
do
in
the
the
exact
ballroom,
same shot.
and that's the exact same
They do
shot
the
they
exact
did in the
same
movie.
shot. here's again, I am okay with that if it is earned. If it is a situation where it feels like it is earned and it's already a different, mind you, it's already a different
Yeah,
story.
because in the
Number,
Disney movie, like he starts to kind of go, okay, I can't just keep her prisoner. He realizes that, oh, she likes books, so he takes her to the library that he has and lets her enjoy that. He has outings with her out in the courtyard and finds that she's got a very playful personality and they enjoy each other's company, and like he relearns manners from her and stuff, and like understands that like the compassion and like differences between each other, the different personalities that leads up to the dancing in the Disney film.
mhm.
You don't get, I understand what you're saying, because you don't get that in this movie.
Well, the other thing is that I know you said you don't like that's the same thing, but you don't have to get the same thing. You have the same thing there. That's perfectly fine. The problem was that it already is different, right?
Mm.
Two things that make it different. One, the Gaston character has no interest in her, like
No.
romantically at all. He's just a pompous ass, which
Yeah.
is fine.
She's a means to an end.
Yeah, she's a means to an end, and that's it. Also, another thing, she is not held prisoner at all in this situation. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that she's not held prisoner because now it is not the creepy thought process of the Stockholm syndrome
Yeah.
like thing. Now it just feels like, oh, like
Yeah,
I
'cause
like
she
you
goes to
because
visit him.
I like you because it to be fair, it becomes even worse of I can fix him like thought process. Like, because that's what
That's what it
Beauty and
seemed
the
like.
Beast is. Beauty and the Beast is just I can fix him. I could do it. I may be held prisoner, but I could do it. I could fix him.
You're terrible.
But like now it seems it's cliche, but it's a little bit better than like her being held prisoner.
Yeah.
And and so like because of that, I don't know, like I said, like the biggest problem I have with it is an unnecessary plot of something that is deep and sad and dark, but it is not earned and is not resolved in any way. Not really. The resolution is her not backing down to him. That's all you get. And my assumption is two things. The children are dead. Sorry.
When she gets back home, they're dead.
He has probably stabbed them, and or wringed their neck by the time she left.
Or just beat them to death.
My hope, like, is and it's literally Beauty and the Beast, and I love Beauty and the Beast, but like you have to be for real. It's literally I could fix him, like kind of situation. It's so weird.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But like it in like the second situation is that you have a resolution, but they don't. But because they don't show it, your assumption is that either they're dead or two, the abuse is still going on, and now it's even more secret, or they have moved. More so, they have moved. He has forced them to move to somewhere else, and it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just they're now harder to get to
It didn't make sense.
because they'll take away
The
the
ending
computers and all that
The ending
stuff.
was rushed. It felt rushed, and it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it just like it
And
the
a lot of
first
people,
half
a
was
lot of
good.
people watching that ending went, "What happened to the kids?" We get no answer at all. What happened? It literally is just she goes back. She kind of has a slight meaningful moment with her dad, who she's kind of been shut off from. Like it's not because he hasn't made an effort to talk to her or trying to do anything with her. It's just he's not sure what to do or how to interact with her when she's basically shut herself off from him. Like he would always ask her every day, "What do you want to do for dinner?" Or "Do you want to have dinner, like cook dinner and stuff?" And she goes, "No." "Do you want to do this?" "No." Like she just basically cut herself off from him.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because he wasn't a loving father or anything like that. It's just,
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Because like the reason why they're so estranged is because of the mother's death, and
yes.
so like she doesn't want to. She just every time, if I remember, it's like babies. Basically, every time she has to go home, she would have to be reminded of
Her mom.
mother. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. See that, but that's fine too. Like I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because they threw that away. They didn't care about it until almost the end again.
Like you get a snippet of it in like different parts of the movie, and then at the very end, like because like when she's on the train ride up to Tokyo, like they have a very like meaningful text message conversation, and then he meets her at the train station when she comes back, and it's like, "Welcome home." I'm proud of you. You did good. You stood up for what you believed in. I'm proud of you. What do you want to do for dinner? How do you want to have this for dinner?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's it." Again, the
I mean,
ending,
it's nice, but it's also nice.
the whole
Okay.
third act of this movie just made you go, "The fuck?"
But like, okay, so like, you know, a whole thing where she's like, "Oh, I would like to have that." Yes, I would like to have it. I mean, I think it would have been cool too. I think it'd been fine. Like
Yeah.
everything about that would have been fine if we didn't have the fucking abusive thing.
Again, that whole third portion of that
It's
movie
just
it didn't make any
the
sense.
child abuse subplot. Child abuse plot is just so dumb.
It didn't make sense.
It's so dumb.
But
Like
yeah, that's our rant.
even if it did happen, it's just so annoying.
It is.
But yeah, Belle is I still think you
it's
should.
a meh movie.
You know, it's funny because I said don't watch the movie.
No, watch it.
You
still
should
watch
the
it. Have
movie.
your own opinion
So
of it.
so the reason why I say you should watch this movie because I have heard back and forth about this. Someone I knew straight up said that it's the best movie, and I just think they didn't pay attention.
Summer Wars is better than that.
Yeah, Summer Wars is great.
Shit, the Digimon movie was better than that.
All right, the Digimon movie slaps. To be fair, and no one talks about
Omnimon.
it. Omnimon was fucking badass. Remember the weird one? What was the episode that like it was like because it was three. It wasn't technically the movie. It was Digimon the movie in the U.S., but it was 3 OVAs. Just kind of put into one. It was 3 separate
3 or
OVAs.
2?
3, because you have the beginning part where it was like the most cool.
Oh yeah, like childhood, and then leads into the
and then it goes to
missile crisis thing.
The missile crisis, and then it has the third one where they're older.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, because it puts in the second generation.
I just forgot the beginning because the beginning part of the movie the U.S. version of the movie was so short.
It's like the best part though. It's literally just a fight scene.
I remember when I first saw it and I saw the animation style for that particular one. I was just like, shit, where was that animation style?
I find it so funny. Like you didn't know it was like he did Digimon, and I was like, did you not?
No. When I saw Summer Wars, I looked at it. I went, that's very similar, and like I looked it up.
And I said it was Digimon.
Yeah, and I was like, no, okay, hang on. I've seen Digimon. Skip forward a few years when Summer Wars comes out, and I see Summer Wars, and then the online universe comes into play when it shows up on the screen, and I'm like, that reminds me of the Digimon movie like a lot. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the same person that did the Digimon movie. And I looked it up, and like you confirmed it too, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a Digimon movie. Who didn't know? Oh, Lydia didn't.
Yeah,
he was like, it's that. I was like, yeah, that's exactly the same. It's the same person.
But I just thought it was really cool. Like something I'm very
that opening. Oh my god, I forgot about like that version of the opening.
Which one?
For Digimon. Because it was so flippant. It was like an update. It was like an entire like shredding like rock song, like rock like hip hop song. It was so fucking. That entire like first OVA was like so cool.
It was so.
I was in. Like the weirdest part is the second part, which is the missile crisis.
That was just funny.
It was funny. It was just like, huh?
This is random, but okay.
Yeah, but the first OVA is the best part. It was just literally a fight scene between.
Can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that Summer Wars and the second part of Digimon are similar plots? The missile crisis.
I forgot about that. Oh, you just brought it back. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Fine.
To be fair, he did it a lot better. It didn't seem like just like a random like thing that happens. Yeah. It's like literally a very important part of it.
Because the uncle created a virus that got out of control.
Yeah, and he didn't realize like how much he fucked up.
Yeah,
and somehow the missile was going straight to them.
No, they purposely guided it there, I think.
Oh, that's what it was.
Oh, no, I remember now.
That's
the virus. No, hang on. The virus figured out what was happening and changed the trajectory of the missile to hit them to make them stop before, because they were trying to get rid of the virus.
They stopped. Yeah, because they moved it first to like kind of delay it, and then they stopped it.
Yeah, it lands in their lake.
Yeah, which.
Like nothing happens. It just lands in their lake.
Was that a missile? Where was that missile from? That's what I was getting at.
It was like an outer space missile thing. That was in one of the satellites.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like depending on like what. I'm not gonna get into the logistics of how
it wasn't nuclear. I know that.
Well, even if it wasn't nuclear, you can
still have a detonation.
Yeah, there's still a detonation, and there was
just on impact alone.
I was like, there was one, but I was like, that doesn't seem like that big of a.
No, it didn't have detonation. It landed in the lake, and opened up a natural hot spring.
That's what it was. It should have detonated though.
Should have.
It should have
On the
detonated.
impact alone.
Yeah, like it should have been much enough because even if it was in space, there are two things. It's not a nuclear warhead because they don't.
They just said it was a missile.
Yeah, there is a missile, but more than likely it's a bunker bot. Um, a bunker buster.
Most likely.
Most likely it is
because that's as big as it was.
Yeah, because that's more like the thing is that where they put them. Like if you would have a missile up there, it would more likely be a bunker buster, something that can penetrate
wipe that out.
that can penetrate the ground.
Yep.
Right, and that would be enough to like cause some serious. I love that we're like dissecting Summer Wars and like as if that was the problem.
It wasn't. It's literally just like this is us nitpicking in terms of like, oh, but in real life, but in reality, Summer Wars is a damn good movie.
Can we also talk about how do you win the game? Be good at Texas Hold'em.
Is that what a Hanafuda is?
Hanafuda is...
It's a different type of game, but yeah.
No, Hanafuda is... That version of Hanafuda is the closest thing to rummy. Like gin rummy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what kind of... That's... that is... Don't take it like that.
Because Hanafuda is a complicated... it's a very complicated
It's way
game.
different. It's different.
It's fun.
But the core concept... The logic of it is very similar to gin rummy.
Yes. Because it doesn't deal with numbers or anything. It's pictures.
It's pictures, but you also have sets.
Again with certain pictures tie in with certain other pictures that will create a set and get you more points.
You also have to know a lot of poetry. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
Which...
Oh no, that's Jihad Furu. That's different.
But the game is Hana.
It doesn't based on poetry. It's just based
on. Is that art? No, it's a different. It has a.
It's something else. It's a complicated game. I never fully understood the.
I was wanting to learn it. I tried it.
Too.
I tried it.
I played an online version.
When it came out, I tried it, and I
wanted the set that came with one of the pre-order releases.
You know, speaking of games, like I love game like anime, because like there's a couple that's out there. I haven't.
Hang on, when you say game anime, do you mean like games based off anime or anime
no
games?
Animes that have like is based around game.
Okay.
So like Akagi is one, like the one that's like he does a lot of like gambling games and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
Kakaguri, which is just crazy bitches gamble. What if crazy bitches had money?
You know what I thought was interesting plot line for a game based anime, but it kind of got weird, so I got lost interest in it. I don't even remember what it was called, but it's something Go.
Hikari no Go?
Yeah,
dude, it's so good.
It's good, but it's somewhere in the line, probably need to just rewatch it. Or
hey, know who did Hikari no Go? Where?
Did he?
Yeah, is that Obita?
I don't think it's Obita.
Shit, look it up. I thought it was Obita. It's someone we watch. It's like you would recognize. Just say Hikari no Go.
I don't know how to spell it.
HIKARU space? No.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. It literally spells the way it sounds. Go back and then go to. Boom! Told you.
Oh, okay, it was two of them, that's why.
Yeah, no, the other one wrote it.
I need to like go back and like.
No, you gotta read it, bro. You gotta read it. The anime stops because it
there was a live action for it too?
Yeah, there was. It wasn't good.
Sorry.
Back to watch our other channel where we were talking about really bad live action anime.
But like I stopped. I think it was because like I just couldn't get a hold of like the material to like finish reading it and stuff because it was in Shonen Jump, and eventually they just stopped having it in Shonen Jump. So
yeah, I started in library because they had like someone had the first three, and I just read them online.
Yeah.
Like, afterwards. No, I love that series. But then again, I'm just obsessed with Obita's work. So like I told you, it's Obita.
I didn't realize.
I was like, no.
I didn't fully doubt you. It's just like I was like, wait, really?
Yeah, no, that's one of his first ones. I think that was his first one.
Interesting.
Like his first major jump series. Because like I don't know if you noticed, all of his stuff is just jump. I think because even all you need is kill is jump. It is.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's jump advanced.
Well.
Yeah. This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Shitting on Belle.
You had better pulls than me. Shitting on Belle. discovering that an anime slash manga I read was by an artist that you love.
I am obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it so much. If I like, I have some stuff that people don't even know about. There's a if you ever know if you want to you ever want a really good one. Where's my Shonen Jump like section?
I don't know, all over the place.
Oh god, because the platinum ends over there.
Like there's My Hero Vigilantes up there.
Yeah,
Vigilantes, One Punch, Spy Family, Bakuman.
Okay, I'm missing one.
Which one?
Where is School Judgment?
Is it over on this shelf?
No, it should be here.
You,
Because I put a bunch.
you have School Judgment up there. It might be just lower.
Is it like super low? No, because this is all DVDs. This is that. What the hell did I? Oh, it's right here. I just.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. So watch. Read School Judgment if you can. It's only 3 volumes, and it is actually literally the same creator and writer and author of Death Note. If you're a fan of Death Note, it's literally just. It's literally just kids in an elementary school in like grade school, and they do these things when it happens, and they're in what was it, they're in a
Almost like
court
a-
of law.
Yeah.
It's literally a kid, and their whole thing is they have a court of law essentially. And this guy, most important character in here, it's not gonna happen. This guy, he's like a famous like school kid who like is really really good at what he does, like as a lawyer, and it's hilarious.
He's the best elementary school lawyer you'll ever find.
Yeah, he's like super intelligent for like no reason.
What, it's like
and
just
he's
2
only, like,
volumes?
3.
Oh,
It's
3,
a
okay.
3 volume series. That's fun. Oh, another one. Another one of my favorites. Bakuman. If you ever want to know how what is like for manga creators to have what they're into, this is one of the best series I have ever read. It's such a good series. It goes through 2 high school kids that's super into the anime, and they become an author and writer. They leave high school, they drop out of high school, and decide they want to become writers, and they become writers for Jump.
So Obita telling his life story.
Maybe. I have no idea. I never looked into like if this has anything to do with his actual life or his friend, because I'm pretty sure this is. I don't have Death Note, so I can't really. I know that Platinum End is the same people, so let me see.
Because Platinum End's just.
Yep, it's the same. It's Oba and Obita. Yeah, so they wrote that together. They've been doing like a bunch of stuff together. So.
They have to be really good friends to be able to work that long.
It has to be. That's the only thing that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Thank you. Like that's the only thing I gotta get Death Note so I can like feel better about myself. It feels weird that like I started being obsessed with him because of Death Note, and then like I just started collecting everything else he has done,
or just about.
Almost. No, because like
you don't have the Hikaru no Go.
That.
Do you even want to start that?
There's a lot. It's like at least 20 volumes.
Look, I'm still trying to figure out if I can get my hands on the Helsing stuff, which is what, 8 volumes?
It is officially 8 volumes, if I remember.
So that's probably gonna be 4 or 5 of the hardbacks.
It's 5 of the giant hardbacks. Is it 8 volumes? I thought it was more. Google.
8 or 9? I know it wasn't super long.
Helsing manga.
Are you stuck on images?
Oh. How dare you?
I know.
There are 10 volumes.
Oh, okay.
So the hardbacks should be finished by now, actually.
Like 5 or 6, maybe?
No, because it's 3 volumes in each.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they're bigger than the full metal ones.
Yeah, they're very big. Those are because these Berserker is over here, so these are 3 volumes, as far as I remember. So or is it? It's either 3 volumes or 2.5. It's one of the.
I think it's gonna be 2.5.
Honestly, at this point, it might be.
It's probably really close to being finished.
All right, let me see. Hardback, hardcover. There are currently. No, it's 3 volumes.
Oh shit!
It's straight up 3 volumes.
Oh shit! How much is all
because
three?
this is a finished set. It'll be
120
119
for all
because
three.
it's I think it's $40.
Yeah.
It's $40 each
That's
as
why I
far as
didn't
I
get the
noticed.
first one, because I was almost going to get the first one, then I
Yeah,
saw how much it was.
that's about right because it would be 3 volumes. Yeah, it'd be 3 volumes because you have 3 volumes, and so you have, and then you just have extra because it'd be three. It'd be three through three, and you probably can get extra in like one of the books.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember if the books are 3 volumes or 3.5. I know they're at least 3 volumes.
Either
Based on
way,
because it's the same. It's the same people. It's the
I
same
want that for
distributors.
Christmas.
Okay, it's the same distributors as these guys. That's all. That's the
Yeah.
ones that's doing Berserk. That's all I know.
God, you're so far behind.
Please don't talk to me about
Hey,
that.
no, I'm kidding. But yeah.
So be sure to check us out. If you listen, if you're watching, we'll have some couple of clips out. Be sure to listen to the audio version of this podcast and Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, Stitcher, Amazon, all of those things. But enjoy any of them. You'll be perfectly fine. Be sure to check out our merch. We're coming out with new ones in the fall. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy, everyone.